Hello, hello, hello. Today is the 18th of May, 2023, and the real treat, it's time for another get together with Norm Winsky. Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for having me on your show, Jeff. When I was last on your show on Monday, April 17th, I gave you the folks the seven forecast points associated with different signs, different markets, and different planets, different signs, and different markets. I'm going to review those now quickly, hopefully. And let's see, AC, if you see AC, that's after the close. The night of the 19th, we had a solar eclipse. That's a special kind of new moon. Anytime we have a new moon, full moon, we look at financials, grains, and precious metals. And by the way, the stocks respond to all these events, whereas commodities tend to be narrow filters and only respond to certain factors. Okay, so if I mention something, just assume it may have an effect on the stock market. Okay, then the night of the 20th, we had Mercury turning retrograde in the sign of Taurus. Anytime we have Mercury, that's the grains, and because it was in the sign of Taurus, that's the cattle and the cotton. Then we had 2 points for the U.S. chart. That's based on where the planets were on the 4th of July of 1776 when the country was founded. And those 2 points are anytime we have the U.S., we have U.S. stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. We had two of those for the night of the 21st. That was a weekend. Friday was the 21st. That takes you over the weekend. And then the night of the 25th, we had another one to the U.S. chart. Again, U.S. stock, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. And then two hits on the afternoon, late afternoon of the 28th, which I think this latter one was almost on the close there for the stock market and probably past the close for many commodities. So we had Saturn heliocentric from the point of view of the sun, Saturn entering Pisces and that may have an effect for cocoa, coffee, hogs, oil, soybeans, and T-bonds. And then we also have Pluto in Aquarius turning retrograde. By the way, when the planets turn direct retrograde, that's one of my high confidence top points. So anyway, that was cocoa, copper, hogs, and T-bonds. We'll be looking at those markets now. So the first market's up. We'll look at the grains. Here's corn. We're looking probably looking for a top there right around the 18th. I'm sorry, about the 19th to 20th, but it topped on the 18th. We were late by 2 days, and so therefore we had two misses there. Soybeans did the same thing, but soybeans did have a third point there on the afternoon the 28th, so that was a short-term low, and we did get a little pop there. So we did get one positive for the soybeans. Wheat were also missed the train there, so there's two misses there for wheat. After that, it was pretty smooth sailing, I think. We rallied up into our Mercury in Taurus, the retrograde point there for cattle, Taurus the bull, cattle. And we did make a short term top there, and you had a chance to make a little bit of money. Mirror image on the cotton there. Cotton was the other Taurus market, and we pulled down into that, made a short term low, and then popped up. Cocoa, we had a little short term top there with our double whammy on the afternoon of the 20th. We topped the next day, and then we had a nice decline. Wheat hogs were almost perfect, topping right on our double whammy there the afternoon, Friday afternoon, the 28th, and then they had a big decline. Okay, and then the coffee made a short-term low. That it was on that same cycle with the coffee, with the hogs and so forth, and that made a low the next day, and then had a little bit of a rally over the next couple of days. Here's crude oil rallied into that same window, and then had a big decline, 14 handles there on the crude oils on your trade. The big one there, that's $14,000. Copper rallied into that window there, topped the next day, and had a little bit of a decline, so you had a chance to make some money. Silver rallied into the moon and had a decline, and so you had a chance to make some money. Gold was chopping sideways, so no signal there. Take a pass. Here's your S&P declined into the moon, into the solar eclipse, rallied into the next, went sideways for Mercury retrograde, and then rallied a little bit into our next point there over the weekend, the 21st, our U.S. double whammy point there, and then down into the night of the 25th. So we're looking for something on the opening 26, and you were near the lows there. Had you bought there, you were very happy because then you had a big rally into our next window, which was a double whammy on the afternoon of the 28th, and that was really good. So here's T-bonds now, did pretty much the same thing. Made a low there on the solar eclipse, came down on the U.S. Double point there, and then rallied up till the night of the 25th, opening 26th for a top, then went back up and made another high there in the afternoon with the double whammy on the afternoon of the 28th, and then a big decline. So that was all pretty good. Here's the dollar. We had 4 points for the dollar. There's the moon plus the U.S. So you had a little short-term top there, a little low the next day after the 24th into the morning of the 25th. Popped up for the night of the 25th, opening 26th, and so that was all good. If you add up the green arrows and red arrows, it's 27 winners, 6 misses out of 33 for 81.82%. Here's something that's kind of off the record here, but this is something I do that a lot of people find fascinating. I draw this blue line a month in advance, and then as we go through the month, I put these S&P 10-minute bars on top of that to see how the forecast was. And you can see here, all except for the last 2 days was pretty good. Here's what's coming up here over the next, actually, as of last night and in the next couple of days, we had a possible change in trend for this morning. We did make a little bit of a short-term top here, had a pull back before the run into the close. But I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna count that or not as a plus. Since we did rally into the close on the stock market, we just kept going higher. Actually, broke out of a range. Then we'd probably be looking for a top either midday tomorrow or possibly on Monday morning, because we got a new moon just before noon tomorrow, and then we have 2 more big points happening over the weekend with geocentric Mars entering Leo. And with the gold coming down as it has, that might be setting up with the new moon and Mars going into Leo, which is the sign for gold and corn. We might be setting up for a low there in corn on Monday. And then we have another point to the U.S. Over the weekend for U.S. stock, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. And if you're not familiar with me, I've been doing this a long time. Depending on where do you start my venture, whether it's 45 or 50 years. I started back in college, made enough money to buy a membership on the Chicago Board Options Exchange in 1975. And I was right out of school. A week later, I was on the floor there at 24 years old as a member and market maker on the CBOE, trading using the astrology, trading by the stars. So there we go. If you like, by the way, I know that what I showed you may look complicated and foreign, but after you get familiar with the terminology, nothing here is over a 5th grade level, I promise you. I take complicated stuff and make it simple so anybody can learn it. Here is my contact information. 239-216-2578 is my phone here in beautiful Naples, Florida. nwinski@yahoo.com, or you can call me on Skype at nwinski. nwinski_1. Looking forward to helping some of your folks, Jeff. I'll be happy to explain any terms or anything that I've done today, and looking forward to helping some of the folks.
Norm, fantastic. 80% practically every month in an asset class where 95% of people are losers. So that's just fantastic. Norm, thanks ever so much, and we'll see you in June.
Thank you very much, sir. Take care.